Welcome, everybody. The Clay, Travis, and Buck Sexton Show. I'm John Kobylt, filling in for Clay and Buck. I want to thank them for letting me have this opportunity today as they enjoy the vacation, enjoy the holidays off. And I want to continue. I'm from KFI in Los Angeles, and been talking a lot about the governor here, Gavin Newsom, because he is the leading presidential candidate on the Democratic side. And this is a dire warning not to let this happen. And I'm saying this to everybody, not just Republicans listening, but Democrats and independents. You don't want this guy. He is a disaster with his policies. And I'll go through more of that later. But I want you to see a clip of his act here. Look, I mean, he's absolutely running for president. He's already toured primary states, and he's obviously taken on the job as being chief critic of Donald Trump, bizarrely by trying to imitate Trump's Twitter style. And this is getting him a lot of attention. This is what's boosted him up in the polls. But just last month, he goes on NBC, Meet the Press, and talks to Kristen Welker, who asks about why he wants to be president. Listen to this nonsense answer.
You've said you'll make a decision about whether to run for president after the midterms.
Yeah, I mean,
Governor, let me ask you, why do you want to be president?
I don't. I'm not suggesting I am. I'm saying in response to someone talked about it, and I hate when nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break. So as it relates to that, there's nothing on the right. I'm focused on Prop 50. I'm focusing on fair and free elections. And to the extent fate, the future, there's an alignment. You have a big enough why. You have a what and a how. You meet a moment, and that moment presents itself in a year and a half. We'll see what happens.
What the hell did that mean at the end there? He says that he hates a politician sitting there and lying to you, and we roll our eyes while he's lying to you. And we're rolling our eyes. And then he goes into this incomprehensible word salad that would put Kamala Harris to shame. Ay. Well, here's a woman who's got a lot of stamina because she's been covering Gavin Newsom for many years, Katy Grimes, and she writes for CaliforniaGlobe.com. CaliforniaGlobe.com. And if you want to know what's going on in California news and politics, this is where to go. Believe me, you may not have heard about this particular website, but for me, it's replaced most of the regular media out here, which simply doesn't cover anything. I don't think there is one local reporter in Sacramento that covers state politics, and there's nobody else in all of California. Nobody. Nobody from the LA Times, nobody from the San Francisco Chronicle, nobody from all the network affiliates, ABC, NBC, CBS, all the affiliates in all these cities, nobody covers Sacramento. It's astonishing, but Katy does. Katy, how are you? Welcome.
Doing well, John. Good to be with you.
Good to have you on. Well, why don't you give, because we're broadcast across the country this time. What would you tell people about covering Gavin Newsom for all these years?
Well, it's a distasteful job, I must admit. If anybody kind of is trying to understand who Gavin Newsom is, which is difficult because every interview he gives, he's playing to whatever audience he thinks he's performing for. But you have to think of like the worst of Tim Walz and the worst of Gretchen Whitmer, but just in a nice Italian suit. That's kind of Gavin Newsom.
The suits are nice.
They are nice.
I think he's that's how he gets by in life. He's got nice suits, nice hair, and a strong jawline.
Yeah, and he travels with his own personal hairstylist.
Yeah, and I mean, some people swoon. I mean, I see him referred to as Governor McDreamy.
Yeah, it's gross.
And they don't connect him to everything that's fallen apart in the state.
Yeah, it's, I believe it was Michael Savage who said liberalism is a mental disorder. And I think we're seeing the fruition of that today after so many years of Democrat supermajority rule in California. And it got really ugly when Jerry Brown came back as governor's second time around, which, so unfortunate for all of us who've lived here for decades. But it was made worse by Gavin Newsom. I recently did an update to my top 50 disasters Governor Gavin Newsom has ushered into California.
Top 50.
Edition.
Wait, I got to just stop you a second. Top 50 disasters.
Right. And there's more. I have people telling me, people writing me saying, but you forgot this and you forgot this. And it's like, we could have top 500. It would take, a 20,000 word essay.
Let's talk about some of the biggest ones because, all the news is raging about Tim Walz and the $9 billion Somali scandal for the empty daycare centers and the children's feeding programs that don't exist. But he's got several here, that add up to about $80 billion worth of fraud. Let's talk about the homelessness because he has admitted that $24 billion in homeless money over the years has disappeared and it was spent, but nobody knows what it was spent on and if it did any good. And that's what this one fascinated me because he actually admitted it.
Yeah, well, he only admitted to $24 billion. The state legislative analyst upped it to $37 billion. And that money disappeared into the black hole of newly created nonprofits and NGOs, non-governmental organizations. And those people hired, friends and family, and the CEO was making $250 a year, and they just would spend the money as fast as humanly possible. I did an article that posted today just highlighting one of these organizations in San Francisco, which is supposed to be providing free shots of alcohol to homeless alcoholics. And in 5 years, at $16 million a year, they've served 55 clients.
No, you're making that up. Wait, this is tax money, and it buys free shots of booze to street drunks. Yes, and it's been going on for a number of years. It was an organization that already existed, but they beefed it up during COVID, ostensibly to keep these homeless alcoholics out of emergency rooms. And it's under the we're kind of trying to reduce harm to these people. And as I said, I'm sorry, giving alcohol to alcoholics is like giving crack to crackheads and heroin to heroin addicts. It doesn't end it; it makes it worse. Well, they're close to doing that, too, because I know in L.A. I just saw a program that UCLA is involved with where they hand out needles. Yeah. They hand out like meth pipes.
Right. Exactly. They claim that this is a harm reduction program when all you're doing is it's the classic codependent, concept.
But they know this, don't they?
Yes.
And it's really about funneling the money to friends and family, so everybody has their own multi-million-dollar empire, and everybody knows that all this nutty stuff doesn't work.
Yes, and in California, with 40 million residents and a legislature the same size as New Jersey, it's very easy to hide this.
And that's $37 billion right there.
Yep.
The high-speed rail, that's a $17 billion disaster, and that's over an 18-year period now.
Yes.
And there is not 1 inch of track laid down after $17 billion in 18 years. Not an inch of track. Talk about that.
No, and that's exactly it. It's consultants that are getting paid. It's union employees. This was supposed to be a big boondoggle for the labor unions in the state, particularly the SEIU, which is public employees. And all they're doing is spending money, as I said, on consultants, on, architects, on it's a lot of make work, and it's multi-billion dollars of money just being funneled down the drain. And as you say, there's no track, there's no trains, there's no high speed, there's no nothing. It's unbelievable that this is going on. And I think it's even more unbelievable to you and to me, John, that we have the Los Angeles Times, which hasn't done a massive investigation on this because they have the resources to do it and expose where the money's actually going.
Then another one, and this may be the biggest one of them all. During COVID, the state started handing out unemployment money to anybody who claimed they were unemployed. and they blew about at least $32 billion, and much of it went overseas.
Yes.
And out of state. Talk about that.
This was the most unbelievable scam I think our state has ever seen. And unfortunately, the perpetrators failed up into the Biden administration. So what they did during COVID was took off all of the security measures that are normally in place when people apply for unemployment benefits in California. And somehow the word got out pretty fast to every prisoner in every state prison in our state and other states that there was this free money to be had. We had prisoners on death row getting unemployment benefits fraudulently.
Scott Peterson, who killed his wife, Lacey Peterson, was getting unemployment benefits while sitting on death row.
Yep. Yeah. Russians were, Ukrainians were, people from all over the world were applying and receiving California unemployment benefits. And the head of the agency, who should not only have been fired but prosecuted, was hired by the Biden administration.
She became the acting labor secretary, Julie Su, right?
Yes, she did. She never got confirmed, but yeah.
And then
rewarded.
She forgave some of the debt California had to the federal government. She created the debt while running the California Labor Department and then forgave her own debt when she took over Biden's Labor Department.
Correct. And the remaining debt is now being paid by California's business owners because Gavin Newsom will not repay the debt to the federal government.
That's crazy. Can you hang on?
Yes.
We'll talk a few more minutes here with Katy Grimes from CaliforniaGlobe.com. So, you add all those three scandals up and you get near $80 billion. Tim Walz is a rookie compared to what Gavin Newsom has done to the state. And by the way, this is going on in a lot of states. It's not just Minnesota and California. it is a free-for-all now with local governments. We'll talk more about this. John Kobylt from KFI filling in today on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show.
Welcome.
This is the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. I'm John Kobylt from KFI Radio in Los Angeles, filling in today, normally on in the afternoon in the L.A. area. And we're talking now with Katy Grimes. We've devoted a lot of time to Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who's the leading Democratic presidential candidate. And a lot of people think that, he's clearly got the best chance to being the Democratic nominee. Katy Grimes is with us from CaliforniaGlobe.com, and she's been chronicling Newsom and the decline of the state over the last 7 years. Katy, you and I know what the record is, and he's going to be running against, 6 or 8, 10 other Democratic candidates, right, in the primaries. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, if he made it through, it would be the Republican nominee, whether it's J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio or whoever. Isn't he going to get eviscerated in about 10 minutes? Or do you think he's got the ability to slime and slink his way out of this?
Well, in answer to your question, yes, he will be eviscerated. Most definitely. Just think back to his disastrous debate with Ron DeSantis, Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, which was a squirming, uncomfortable experience to have to watch. Governor DeSantis was fabulous and just pummeled Governor Newsom on his record, on his lies, on, his exaggerations, on his word salads. It just went on and on. And can you imagine J.D. Vance debating him or Marco Rubio? Even any of the other potential Democrat wannabe candidates, I think, other than Tim Walz. Gretchen Whitmer could just eat him for lunch. I think it'll be entertaining to watch. It may make a lot of people squirm, though, when you see him really put to the test.
Why do you think he survived here? He's won every election, twice for mayor, twice for lieutenant governor, 3 times for governor because there was a recall. That's a 7-0 record. What's wrong with people here?
Well, we are a Democrat majority state, a supermajority in our legislature. We have some of the most liberal media in the entire country. And as you correctly stated in your opening, They just choose not to cover certain things. And Gavin Newsom, for that very reason, has never been put to the test in California, not the way he should have been. There's never really been he hasn't had to run a tough election, is the point. I think that will change on the national stage.
He is not really quick under pressure.
No.
Every once in a while, a reporter gets a hold of him, and he becomes a blithering mess.
Yeah, and his first go-to is to tell a big fat lie. As he encountered the mom in Pacific Palisades or Kristen Welker in her interview. I think he thinks he can shoot from the hip on everything he does, and it just doesn't work on a national stage. California media might give him, a pass, but I don't think national media will.
No, I mean, it's such a rich target environment, Newsom's record. Because I know a lot of people think he's going to win in a breeze, and I always think you have no idea how much baggage he carries. Katy Grimes, I've got to go. Thank you for coming on with us from CaliforniaGlobe.com.
Thank you so much, John. It's been great to be with you.
All right, we're going to talk more about the situation out here in California on the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show.